Yes.
Go.
We're live on all of our different formats. Yes. And we're going to look at that camera because we don't like
really
you people.
blown out.
Oh, this one's blown out because it's,
Super light.
there was a root beer around here at one point for me. Don't I get? That's right there. We have an erstwhile assistant who's going to make sure that there's root beer for me.
That's
You
the
get the
director.
beer, I get the beer.
This is Eddie.
Hi,
Thank you.
everyone.
Well,
Blind.
welcome to Nerd Pub.
Episode 3.
Episode 3, because it's not like you have anything else to do, and you really should stop playing that game right now. Just for a few minutes.
Yes,
Well, about
playing
an hour.
that game.
Whatever that game is. Anyway, going to introduce everyone. I'm Thomas Williford. I'm a well-known steampunk artist and author, and I did a bunch of TV crap, and I'm still trying to stay relevant, so that's why I'm doing this show.
I'm Jay. I'm the mead maker, photographer, all-around nice guy who buys presents that he can't open.
Yes, you suck. This is
I am the beard with an idiot attached to it.
also known as Taylor.
Yes. I am a sometime swordsman, erstwhile model, waiter, cook, adventurer.
Mostly a waiter.
Mostly a waiter.
He's waiting to do something with his life. That's what the waiting part is. And this is our lovely guest. She's actually been staying with us for over a month now. We can't get her
exactly a month.
exactly a
Exactly.
month.
It was a month
because
today.
because till they decide what's happening with Brexit, she's staying in America for some reason.
I am hiding.
She's hiding.
Hey, no politics on the show.
No. There are politics on the show. I'm going to introduce politics to the show. Star Trek's better than Star Wars. Bite me. Okay. Anyway.
Wait a second.
No. I take it back.
Star Trek.
Wait, where's the Firefly
No, it's
contingency?
Star Trek. Yes.
Where's the
Firefly is
Firefly?
better than them both.
It's
more realistic.
Hey, that's alt. That's,
No, I'm sorry.
That's alt left shit right there. That
No.
Firefly stuff.
I'm all Orville, all right? I'm for the new kid on the block, all Orville.
I still need to
Anyway,
watch that.
this is Louise. Louise Curry. Just like the food, but not as spicy.
Oh, I don't.
No, really.
Also known as Adventure Girl.
This is Adventure Girl. I'm Jersey Thor,
I'm the mead guy.
and this is the Mead Guy.
That's mead, M-E-A-D, not meat.
Not me.
Mead.
Although you should see him wrap into a chicken. It's like amazing.
I am a carnivore.
Yeah, I know. I've been there. I'm as much of a carnivore as he is. That's
Yeah,
how
like,
it-
with
the
that
two of
steaks.
us, chickens are terrified of us.
No,
They're like,
beef.
it's him again! Oh my god! Oh, did somebody say something hideous?
I'm sure someone
I'm
did.
sure, yeah.
We've come round back to the debacle of the butter dish.
Oh god!
We do have a live guest today.
Oh yes, we have live guests.
Eric, scoot on over here.
Yes, let's bring a guest over here. I'm gonna bring a chair over here. We're gonna do this a little bit. We're gonna scoot in.
Yes, I get
like
the
we
extra
like
large
better.
guest to make myself
Very
look
well,
small.
I'm panning over to Eric.
I feel
so you guys
tiny.
can all see
Yes.
him.
So introduce Eric. You're all about Eric.
Eric Hardenbrook, why don't you introduce yourself? You can do it better than I can.
Sure. I'm a fan and author and artist from here in the Harrisburg area. I have a handful of stories published with eSpec Books and Fortress Publishing. I've got 3 more in the works for this year and hopefully more after that.
Eric's been a very good friend of mine for a number of years, supported me in most of my adventures, the mead making, the photography. He's been a fantastic friend and a hell of a geek. Going to offer some wonderful insight on tonight's show.
Sure. Put me on the spot for that.
He's like, I just came for the drink. I'm getting a drink. One of the things we're going to do today is we're going to review Love, Death, and Rockets. Robots. I can't believe I said that. You know why? Because
You are the robot man.
because there was a comic book called Love and Rockets when I was a kid.
Right.
And that's
Did you
why
have
I
to-
keep. I know, it's obscure shit.
Wait,
in my
Rocket,
head.
that stuff that goes in spring mix?
No, God, the cook in him.
This
coming out.
is a man who, basically made a steampunk giant robot as a fetish, as a project. And he can't remember the word
I
robot.
love robots. Robots are my favorite thing. But
Unhelpfully so.
But I've just recently seen it. I watched it again. I just kind of loved it. Not one of them was bad. Now, if somebody says, "Hey, what's your favorite one? I can go my favorite and my least favorite. My least favorite is still better than almost all the Star Wars movies. So, they're all pretty good.
What is your beef with Star Wars today, man?
Oh my God.
That's a bold
It
statement.
is a bold statement. I said than most. The first three were pretty darn good. And then,
I like the later
I mean,
ones.
Jar Jar Binks.
yeah. Everyone's trying to forget that one.
Well, I think if you, I think you could take that stand now, but I think you really have to give it more time.
I can't lie. When The Phantom Menace came out, I saw it 3 times in the theater because it was like the first real Star Wars movie in decades.
The Phantom Menace was my first Star Wars movie.
Oh,
Yes, I know.
honey.
I am that young.
But hold on.
Wait. I saw all 3 of the original ones when I was like knee high to a grasshopper.
That was
And
the
then-
re-release.
Blame my parents.
I saw the original ones, and then we did the re-release. And we went and saw it in theater.
See, blame my parents. My dad took me to see The Phantom Menace. It's my first Star Wars movie, and then I loved it, and he went, right, we're going to teach you.
Well, I'm going to make a confession here about Star Wars. I kind of agree with Thomas. It really, if you take away the nostalgia filter from it, I love the movies for what they meant in my childhood, but when I rewatched them, I was like, Jesus Christ, Luke's a whiny bitch.
See, I'm in it for the droids.
I,
The droids.
all right, I lived,
Lightsabers.
breathed, and ate Star Wars for. I've seen Star Wars more times than I've had hot dinners, and I love Star Wars.
Let me guess, your favorite part was the lightsaber fights.
No, actually, my favorite part is anytime Han Solo's on screen.
That would be the second choice.
Yeah. Oh God.
But no, the first 2 movies I ever remember watching from like very young age are The Princess Bride and The Empire Strikes Back. And that's why I am the man I am today.
Are you saying you like sword films by any chance?
Yeah, right?
See, I saw
Go
Star
figure.
Wars when it came out the first time at the movies and all that type of stuff. Loved it. Thought, wow, yay, science fiction is coming back.
You were 9.
Yes.
Well, maybe a 12.
Well, yeah, I was young. It was in what, 76?
76.
77.
I was in 6th grade.
77.
If you saw the early previews, it was 76.
Oh.
I was in 7th grade. Yeah. I loved it. It's just, I'm kind of like, okay, this has been done. And it's science fantasy. I like science fiction.
It is more. I consider Star Wars more of a fantasy film than a science fiction.
And this is what happens when you're at a nerd pub. Somebody says something, and now you're...
We
Controversy.
were supposed to be reviewing something else.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Reviewing Star
Love,
Wars.
Love, Death, and
So
Robots.
Thomas, what was your favorite episode of Love, Death, and Robots?
Love, Death, and Robots. My favorite episode was Suits.
Okay.
I love giant robots, and the idea of being in a giant robot and just a bunch of farmers with giant robots. I mean, they use tractors and machines. Have you seen it?
I have. I actually finished the last episode last night.
Oh, cool.
So it's still fresh in my mind. I would have to go with Lucky 13.
That one is very good.
That was really good.
Mind you, if you haven't watched it, spoilers!
Yeah.
No, lots of spoilers.
Great big spoiler alert.
Big spoiler tag.
So what I was getting back to earlier, what turned me to it originally is somebody compared this to the 70s film Heavy Metal.
Oh yeah.
Now,
You're doing the same thing. in my opinion.
I would actually say, one, we need to give it a lot more time before we make that sort of a comparison. 2, they're not all strung together. These are 18 different stories that are not connected.
It was supposed to be
Originally.
heavy metal.
Yeah, it
supposed to be the next heavy metal, and that deal fell through. This is what I got from Grapevine stuff and everything. So they said, well, we're still going to animate this shit. Let's make some other animation and stuff.
And I will tell you, if you're a fan of animation, the art itself
It is beautiful.
stunning.
I will admit, though, I was looking for the Lochnar through every episode.
I found it less like heavy metal and more like, if anyone remembers it, the old Animatrix film.
That was
Yeah.
that was
Well,
what I.
Which was
Yeah.
very heavily... Actually, there was a
And that-
show... Go ahead.
The Animatrix film at the time was like, it was like a display of what we could do with animation at the time. And okay, so I might be the animation nerd here. I did study it for a long time, but at the time, Animatrix was the pinnacle of showing exactly what we could do with the equipment we had available and the technology we had available, and it feels very much like that's what Love, Death, and Robots is like. There's been points in the in various episodes where it's not just me, we were discussing it together, where we forgot that it was animated.
Especially in what is it? The Far Side of the Aquila Rift.
Well, did you?
Yes.
There was a live action
Oh,
show
okay.
for about 2
Yeah.
years ago that was very much a heavy metal knockoff on cable syndication. It actually even had a MacGuffin very similar to the Lochnar. I can't remember what it was. It was live action, had every B-movie action star you could think of, and it was just like 2 years. Something metal.
I must have missed that.
Yeah, I missed it.
Although now I want to know what.
Comment if you know what the hell he's talking about.
Yeah, they literally had gladiatorial combat.
'Cause we know.
They had various different things, and it was something metal, something steel, and it was very much a linked, very much a heavy metal Lochnar type situation. But it was a live action heavy metal that they couldn't get the rights to heavy metal. Kind of like when they tried to do God of War and called it Clash of the Titans.
So some of the Facebook people are saying, "Oh, the lights are washing you out." They're washing us out on the Facebook feed, but on the other feeds, they're actually doing a much better job.
I did share the link on the Nerd Hub page, the Brute Force page, and
Oh, good.
also on my page. I don't have access to yours, so
And
Oh, you know what? We should probably
Maybe-
cut this off since they've got a taste on these other
So
medias.
what we're going to do is we're actually going to leave these medias in a moment. What you need to do is go to YouTube, look up Nerd Pub, or look at the link if it's available there.
Go to the
They can go
Facebook
to
page.
They can go to the Facebook page.
Go
and
to the
there's a link
Facebook
there.
page for Nerd Pub, and then you go to Nerd Pub on YouTube, because that's where the interview with Matt King, who did voice work directly on Love, Death, and Robots. Two of the episodes were really a lot about him.
All praise Illidan.
Yeah, he was great.
Also,
So
you know,
let's
we're
give them about 2 minutes to switch
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna play the Matt King interview because
Yeah. I'll point when it's, because we'll talk a little bit more and then we'll do that. So in a couple minutes we're gonna stop, and the only place you're gonna be able to see the rest of this and the YouTube or the video from Matt is on our YouTube channel.
Oh, and you'll get to finally see what Thomas gets to open because we're not opening it until the end.
You suck!
You have to
I gotta open one. I gotta open this box. I don't care what's in the box. What's in the box? Sorry.
I understood
huge.
that.
I'm going to have to dodge here.
Thunder.
Can you cut? Yep, there we go. Oh.
Big box.
So, what did you think of the episode Good Hunting?
I need to make myself feel better.
He needs to sit back after that one.
Let's Tim back in. Good hunting. Awesome.
That-
awesome.
that
The
would
most
seem-
Oh, that was
steampunk.
Yeah.
beautiful.
That was that's the one where Matt King did loads of voices in there, and I actually talked to Matt about it. He talks about it on the video. I am pimping the video because you really should see this. Matt is a Hollywood guy. You go look it up. His IMDb is so
under
freaking long. Matthew, yes, Matthew King,
I think
King.
I think there's a middle name in there as well.
There is, because if you just look up Matt King, you find the comedian.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, nobody wants to see him. I don't know him actually. I shouldn't say that. For all I know, he's a fan. and
We
he's
might
gonna
be a
punch
little
me in the
biased.
face.
Just a tad.
I don't think he knows who the comedian
Oh, by the way,
is.
Matt King was also one of the judges on Steampunked.
The pretty guy.
He was the pretty guy. He was in our group. You had the barbarian, and you had the healer, and that was Kato, and then you had Matt King, who was the wizard, and that's how that worked. He was.
Wait.
Funny you mention that. We have something to talk about at the end of this episode.
Yes, we do.
Wait, didn't you say he was like super buff? Like,
Oh yeah,
He's
under
ripped.
that, Matt is like super buff.
So
anyway,
wouldn't he be
I'm
more the
gonna
rogue?
say bye to you people. Love you on whatever you are. Okay, end video. Yes, end live video over there. Bye. Go forth, make beautiful and lovely things. I know I changed it. Anyway, finish. You gotta go.
Who's Finnish?
I'm Scandinavian, but
Can
I'm
we
not
do
finished.
the
On all of our different formats.
Share. Just gonna share that. It's gone.
And
now we're all
Give
on.
us the sign for Matt King because we want to mute the microphone when we do.
Yes,
Right.
we'll need
So-
to mute the microphone when I do the video.
Right. So we're gonna show, and we're gonna have to be quiet for that part.
I have
Sorry.
to turn off the microphone.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, hit the mute button and then hit it.
Is there a mute button? Hey, I can get this
right in
out
front
of
of
it.
it. Just hit the
Is
red
that the red
button.
button? We can turn the red button off.
Yes.
Hit the red button.
Press the
So
red button.
we're gonna show Matt King's video. It's about 11 minutes long, and it is awesome.
Hey, Thomas, it's Matt. So I am contacting you from Goblins Shipping Central / my office. Goblins Animated is a show that I created with Phil Lamar and Terrell Hunt last year with the voice talents of Futurama. And right now I am hip deep in sending out miniatures and everything else. But I wanted to say hey and talk to you guys a little bit about Love, Death, and Robots.
Stop being a whiny pussy and fucking bounce it.
Jeez.
So, Love, Death, and Robots is a series created by Tim Miller of Deadpool fame and David Fincher, who did House of Cards and Seven and Fight Club and Mr. and Mrs. Smith and all sorts of other awesomeness. It's an anthological sci-fi show that is absolutely incredible, not that you don't know this. So my 2 episodes are The Witness and Good Hunting. The Witness was directed by Alberto Mielgo, and Good Hunting was directed by Oliver Thomas. Let's talk a little bit about The Witness first.
Emergency services, what's your emergency?
Hello? I think I saw a murder.
Location, please.
I think the killer's after me.
Right, location, please.
So, yes. Just personal pride. These are the first 2 things that I've ever really done where coming out of it, I am 100% satisfied with performance, with the way the project turned out, with the animation, with everything else. So my own internal pickiness was completely satisfied by these 2 things. The Witness is a wonderfully sort of open world, Twilight Zone, Outer Limits-like episode. And he had wanted to create something that really felt, spoilers, like an infinite loop. If you look at the camera work in it, he's really hearkening back to Inarritu and in large ways to other Spanish filmmakers who really like to use long single takes. And he does that specifically to keep the action and the atmosphere ramped. There's a bunch of shots in there where he'll find one character and sort of follow her into the background and like that, and he just constantly keeps the camera on the face of the character and really creates an amazing atmosphere. The thing was largely done as motion capture and pure hand-drawn animation in Flash, and really came out to be this amazing thing. It's supposed to be somewhere between like Hong Kong Seoul-esque non-place with this odd dreamlike sense of everything, which is why you'll notice, like, as they're running through the streets, that there's nobody around. So he wanted that real sense of the dreamlike quality and of a nightmare quality where only her terror is available. The entire rest of the world is pretty much empty. So Nolan North is also in this one, playing Vladimir, with this odd dreamlike sense of everything. Which the host is this woman who runs this underground sex club that the girl actually performs at. And it was fun. I based the character on an old friend of mine back in the day named Cindy Rivera, who was a Puerto Rican girl from the Bronx who I used to work with on Wall Street. And she was fantastic and just had attitude on her attitude. I remember we used to take the train home together, and all the guys on the subway would be there with their legs spread as far apart as possible, taking up as much room as possible. And I remember this one time where Cindy got on the subway and she saw these 4 guys taking up the entire subway bench, and she looks at all of them and she goes, ain't no man's business big enough to be sitting like that. And I loved that, and I love that attitude of this, you know, this woman. And when Alberto showed me the sketches for the host, I was like, oh, this is Cindy. So the character is effete and has tons of attitude, and one of the best things of it is the last line that the host does, that he directly spits into camera, and that was something that Alberto specifically asked for, and I think is one of the most brilliant moments in the piece. And then Good Hunting. Now, Good Hunting is near and dear to my heart because it is Chinese steampunk, and takes place in Victorian Hong Kong. And really, when they showed it to us, they had storyboards and sketches that were fully realized when we were there. So we were acting to the storyboards and seeing these storyboards, and the sort of steampunk aspects penciled in were amazing. So, you know, first of all, coming in and seeing that it was Chinese steampunk, and then seeing the world that he created, and then seeing the sort of, you can go back in frame by frame and see the levels of what he's created into the background for that 2D animation. That's absolutely remarkable. And because it is 2D animation, it's incredibly expensive to do, because animation has gotten no cheaper really than it was in 1960. There's certain workarounds in terms of Flash or other Harmony or other platforms that you can do it on, but you're still amortizing your costs up front, and animation becomes stupidly expensive, especially if you're trying to do it in 2D. So the fact that Tim Miller and Blur Studios were able to do this in 2D animation and get that sort of fire and ice, I mean, that was one of Tim's main touchstones, was fire and ice, Disney-like feel, was really amazing. And then to really have the juxtaposition of the old ancient ways and have those of the Hulijing, and have that transforming into the new ways, and how that's making magic disappear from the world. I just loved it. I absolutely loved it, and I loved doing it. So, you know, in between takes, I was just a little boy bouncing around with glee. It stroked the cockles of my geeky heart. And then one of the most fun things was that I was drawing, because I felt like the character then had to draw on both the English learning that he was doing, because he became sort of the essence of steampunk in that he's started off in magic and he's ending up in technology. And so I had wanted his accent not to be purely sort of Chinese, which tends to be a very sing-song accent. So the Chinese accent tends to go up and down. You know, it feels very much like you are chopping vegetables, right? And the English accent of that time period was very Eton, was very proper, right? So everything became very specific and proper. And so what I wanted to do was to combine the two, which actually is the amalgamated Hong Kong accent, is very Eton English on top of sort of Beijing or Chinese. So I combined the two, and the accent became both Eton English, where you would have the surrounding vowels and tones be very English, but at the same time you have a Chinese undertone to everything of how he speaks, and that became the narration for the piece, and that's what they liked. And it was really fun working with Elaine Tan and Gwendolyn Yo, who are outstanding voiceover actresses. You probably know Gwen Yo from Lady Deathstrike in all of the Marvel cartoons. But they just did remarkable work, and especially since Netflix and Blur Studios really weren't shying away from the sexual aspect of it, it was neat to have this sort of sense of Victorian colonialism and the rape of China, and sort of emblemizing that through this character. who was sort of outside of time. And really, I mean, it was just a wonderful thing to work on, a wonderful character to do. And because it does get so brutal in sort of the second, third act of the piece, it was really a fun experience, and actually sort of, even though it's so short, was a wonderful arc that I wished that they would turn into a full movie. Anyway, those are my takes on Love, Death, and Robots. I hope you're well. Thank you so much for watching Love, Death, and Robots, and hopefully we'll get a second season. Check out our lovely trailer here. Talk soon.
Tom?
Greta?
This is amazing.
Yes, she is.
And we're back!
I think we're back. Are we back?
We're back.
Yay! So hopefully you liked that. I thought it was awesome. I've seen that video about 2,600 times.
Still haven't watched it.
No, they didn't get to watch it ahead of time.
He hoarded it.
I hoarded
He
the video.
sat in the office in a dark
It's
room.
my Mac.
I apologize for all the not safe for work stuff that just flashed before your eyes at the end there.
Oh,
That was
Sorry, I didn't let anyone see ahead of time. I should have, but I didn't.
That was your revenge for the unopened
My revenge,
box.
because I want to open the box. I want to open the box. It's not. I can't open it yet.
That's what I said there. Never mind.
Jeez.
No, we've already done that at SFW. So
We were also seeing what you've been up to.
Ah, okay. So for anyone that's in the central Pennsylvania area, I'm also part of Watch the Skies, which is a science fiction and fantasy fan group. We publish a fanzine every month. We're Hugo eligible. We meet the third Wednesday of every month at the Simpson Library in Mechanicsburg. We originally started at the Barnes & Noble over here in Camp Hill, and we moved from there to the Midtown Scholar, and then from the Midtown Scholar over to the library. The library has been super welcoming. It's a really comfortable space where we meet, and there's lots of books. Above and beyond that, yes, above and beyond that, they're actually running a one-day mini convention coming up in May that's going to be a lot of fun. So a bunch of folks from our group are...
Isn't that like one of the classic things you don't do?
I did, and you know what? She's on emergency, so it goes through even if I turn my ringer on.
I know, but you should have told her you were.
So, I'm gonna say.
Right.
Filming.
You should continue while he's.
You should have told her. You should have told her.
I did. I told her we started at 8.
What's really funny is the ringer on mine is a sound effect, and it's Peter Griffin, and he says, "Oh my God, who the hell cares?"
That's all right. I had an ex-girlfriend that I got into her phone and set her ringtone for her mom for Stewie.
Mommy.
Yeah. That sort of stuff is a lot of fun. But so our group is going to be over there at this one-day convention. We'll be helping out. There's a lot of fun stuff that goes on over there. Apparently, now this is the part where I'm sort of lose my credibility because I'm not a video game person, or at least not a new video game person.
All nerds are welcome on Nerd Pub.
Yeah.
Is it Fallout that has dances that go on in it?
Fortnite.
Or WoW. WoW has a few.
Oh yeah.
So apparently one of the things that's going on is going to be a Fortnite dance-off. So it just little fun things
out.
Like that.
Get your floss out.
The bartender at work was teaching me that.
When is the one-day convention?
What's the date?
That's a really good question. And I'll find that answer for you while we continue to chat.
By the way, he mentioned something called Midtown Scholar.
But you still haven't taken
I haven't taken everyone
I gotta
to
go too.
Midtown Scholar is a
3 years.
really lovely
Let's go.
bookstore in Harrisburg that used to be a theater. I think.
Yes.
The building used to be a theater. They even have an antiquarian bookstore in the basement. and it's really kind of cool. Good coffee place, that type of
books
thing.
of knowledge and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Could I theoretically find historical fencing manuals
I
there?
just knew you were.
No, there are no fencing books. No books on
but-
sale.
Oh no, because Mark's already bought them.
Mark Darling has already bought them all. They're all
That
gone.
reminds me of one thing, folks. One of the things that is now live is thisisnerdpub.com. It's our new website.
Oh, yes.
And I will post all the information for Eric's event, his information. I already have his bio up on there. I will put an events page for anything that our guests talk about that you can see and actually find additional information on the webpage. We're going old school and actually using a webpage, not just Facebook. You know, that was social media back in the day in GeoCities.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
It was only vaguely social. It was kind of.
With the millennials, man.
Yeah.
I will still post it to all that stuff. but-
Yes, we will do that. You know what's horrible? I don't have a drink. He doesn't have a drink.
May 18th.
May 18th.
May 18th. May 18th.
Is that when you finally get a drink?
No, actually, that'll probably be Memorial Day weekend. Because Memorial Day weekend is the Baltimore Science Fiction Society.
Actually, that's COTS.
Is that Balticon?
It's Balticon.
God, I went to Balticon back in the 80s. Way
Yeah.
back when.
My first Balticon was Balticon 27. And they're
Lost
on
track of them.
53.
Oh, God, it's been a
something
long
like that.
time.
So yeah, I'd love to go and sit with folks and just have conversations about books, the ideas behind them, meet the authors, meet the editors, meet the artists. I've met some of the coolest artists there.
Yeah, Howard, what was it? Howard, something Howard does, Schlock Mercenary was at one of them and I missed it.
Oh yeah.
Ron Howard, not the same thing.
Different Ron Howard.
There's just a slew of folks that. The thing that I like the most about this is it also gives an opportunity to cross-pollinate ideas, to key off things that maybe you weren't thinking about before. So there's a book that I read a while back. It's called The Medici Effect by Franz Johansson, and his idea is that the Medici family helped bring about the Renaissance because they brought in all of these different people and just sort of mushed them all together to see what would come out. And by putting things together that you wouldn't think went together, he came up with these new and really interesting ideas. Like the example he uses all the time is, what does a burqa and a bikini have in common? Well, people that wear burqas really like to swim too. So if you make them out of bikini material,
Yes.
right, and those people can't make them fast enough now.
Yeah.
Right.
So getting that new idea, getting that cross-pollination of talking about things that you wouldn't normally talk about, I think is fascinating. I think it sparks so many
that. They
things.
call it the bikini.
I've seen them. I've actually seen the
And they
pictures.
tried to ban them in France.
I know.
No.
Pourquoi?
Because Europe likes to think it's ahead.
See, I had to ask him a question because there's two other people sitting over there.
It's a
You
future
can't see them.
guest.
And,
It's a future
and I'm
guest.
like, hey, are we like stepping on their time here?
Yeah,
Because I don't quite know
Where
what's
are
going
we
on.
at, Eddie?
We are at 33 minutes.
I guess.
33
All right.
minutes left or 33
Who
minutes?
wants to let Thomas open his gift now? I kind of want to see what it is too. I know what it is, but I don't know. Taylor, let's make you have the deciding vote. Remember, your livelihood is more staying at the house.
We've got, so we're going to be at 34 minutes in, which means we have.
Well,
26 minutes.
26.
We're going to do it because I have a couple announcements towards the end that I want to do. So
Yeah,
we're
let's
gonna go
let's go ahead and do it. Because I want to see this.
I want to see
Does
this.
this mean I need to
All right, folks.
slide?
This is the big reveal for what Thomas got ordered months ago. I put tape on it because it actually says on it on the outside of the box.
So, you know, the only sharp thing I have to open this
Is your wit?
is yeah, that's not
We'll be here all day.
Sharp as a butter knife.
Ah,
Well, actually, those are actually sharper than metal ones. You hurt yourself with a butter knife.
I have hurt myself with a butter knife.
The most dangerous thing in a kitchen is a dull knife.
The little serrated bits on a butter knife when you don't think they'll cut you, that's
Butter
when
knife,
they
but it's
cut
actually
you.
butter knife. Yes, more.
Pillows!
Yes, I got your box full of pillows. Go ahead, put them away. Don't squeal like a little girl.
I'm screaming
No, he's
like
screaming like a
Donald
velociraptor.
Sutherland.
yeah, Donald Sutherland.
Yes.
That is small girl with the squeal I made when I went to it.
Oh my god. So, last week, I got the plasma pistol in the mail,
Which you did a video about.
You might want
Which
to
I
take
did
your
a
drink
video-
off the table.
and now I've got the plasma rifle
To scale.
to scale, 1-to-1 scale. This is
Pardon.
But she's using the stim pack to open.
I'm
So-
using a stim pack to open a plasma rifle from Fallout. I want to see if it's as awesome as the pistol was. Oh, actually, I need that again.
Yeah.
Because the pistol was super rock and roll. It was just, I loved it. This is my late birthday present.
And Christmas, because this was expensive.
Yes, this was expensive, so I get no birthday or Christmas presents ever again.
I don't think I've ever bought him a present.
I don't think he's ever bought me one. He bought me drinks.
Okay, that's count.
Yeah, that qualifies.
No, I got
People ask me what I want for my.
Yeah, no, I'm kidding.
People ask me what I want for Christmas. They're
You never
like,
did grade the one you got me last year.
I'm not hard to shop for. You know where the liquor store is.
Aren't you glad?
Oh, yeah.
Here, sorry, gotta pull all the
There are
pieces
these
out.
multiple pieces.
This thing is freaking huge!
This is when you find out some assembly required.
Some assembly required.
Batteries not included. No, they are included.
The batteries are included. So I couldn't afford to get this thing for myself. This is why I have friends. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's sitting together down here. Stim pack.
All right, got the
no,
bolts
just brute
here.
force it. Just brute force
No.
it. No, the box.
I don't care. I don't want to take
We
a
don't
chance.
want to break it. We don't want to break it.
So here's some bolts.
Things.
Oh, here's the instructions.
Yeah, that's so cute.
Save the instructions for when it all goes wrong.
Yeah.
There's no way this can end badly. God.
Wow.
That is.
That's staggering.
Holy crap.
Color me impressed.
I was worried for as long as it was taking to ship, because they moved it back a while bit.
Yeah, this stuff.
It's supposed to come out in December.
Yeah, you could buy. I bought actually, a friend of mine bought me the plasma pistol too, and that was back at San Diego Comic-Con. You could buy it right there, and it was only going to be till, it'll be in time for Christmas.
That's what they originally said.
And they lied because it was not going to be there. And I just got it last week, which is cool because I'm going to be in Ohio this weekend at a steampunk event called the Symposium, Steampunk Symposium.
International Steampunk Symposium.
Right, go look it up.
Pardon my Midwest.
Yeah. And
she's a Midwest. He's a Midwestrian.
Midwestrian?
Midwestrian.
Midwestrian.
Well, he does identify as a unicorn, so he's a Midwestrian.
Ah, is that how that works?
I was gonna say, do I like dressage ride cows?
We did discuss the holographic rainbow harness.
You're a Eurocorn.
Yes.
You're a
So-
Eurocorn.
Unicorn.
You're a
You're a
Eurocorn.
unicorn. She is a unicorn.
And this is why they have you on the show.
Right, that's going to
Oh
be a
my-
pin.
I'm sorry, losing my mind. A little bit here. Oh my god, there's parts. Here's more parts.
Connectors.
The connectors.
Or right here.
Oh, you gotta wait till it's together. I know this part's boring for you people, but I am
Losing his mind.
trying not to tinkle. I might have actually a little teeny bit.
That wasn't P.
Children.
Taylor, be careful.
Why are we blaming me? I didn't get something cool. All I got is this pint.
That's cool. That's what you like.
I got you a necklace for Christmas.
Yeah, I'm wearing it.
Yeah, see?
It's the Blades of the Darkmoon logo from Dark Souls.
I'm really good at buying gifts.
He is very good at buying presents. I am trying not. I'm trying not to do the thing where you grab the bag and pull real hard and all the pieces go everywhere.
Yeah. Last year for Christmas, Jason got me a mug with my own face on it that says, "Yes, I really am quite dashing, aren't I?" And I drink my coffee out of it every single freaking morning.
Well, it was also a photo I took.
Yeah.
It's a big fat mug.
I know how much coffee he drinks.
Yeah.
I told
You missed the European joke then.
Apparently I did.
Big fat mug, yeah.
Mug means face.
That's right.
Your big fat mug, yes.
It also,
So where's
by
the
way,
instructions?
means idiot.
Finally,
Well, so go ahead, you people talk
The
while I do
instructions
this.
that I carefully set aside.
So if you ever want a good Christmas present, ask Jason.
Don't ask him to buy it for you, but he'll tell you what a good present is for other people, which is good.
So, Louise, what have you been working on lately?
Not enough. Don't put me on the spot.
Yes, it does light up.
It does, I know.
So, for the record, one of our
thanks,
friends,
batteries.
I don't remember who, but one of our friends got this on Facebook the other day, and Thomas's squeal with jealousy was audible through the house.
Not knowing that he was.
Is that what that was?
Yes.
It was him going, "Oh my God, how dare you!"
Yes, I remember that.
Little did he
He
know.
looked at me. He looked over at me and he went, "He got one."
There was Steve Pack. This is
It was Steve.
Steve, yeah.
Yes.
From it,
Oh, the
was
battery's
it Broad
already-
and Broad?
Yes, Bart and Broad.
Yep.
You know, but he really did deserve getting this because he's had a rough time.
I've been a good boy.
Can I put my
No, I'm
tip
not
down?
talking about you. I'm talking about
Oh,
Steve.
damn it. Yeah.
Steve deserves it.
Screw Tom. He doesn't deserve it. He gets too many nice things.
He doesn't buy
He
us
does.
enough Lucky Charms.
Yeah, this is true. More Lucky Charms with unicorn heads, please. Thank you.
With the unicorn heads and the leprechaun catches.
Yes.
Because square side, round
Free
side.
pony, free unicorn rides.
I'm having trouble seeing. because
I've
of
got
the
a
lights.
butt in my face. I did not expect a butt in my face.
Especially Thomas's butt.
So you're seeing how awesome this is, right? And just is this showing up? Just looking good on there? Okay, cool. Because
So, Thomas, when you're playing Fall... Oh, no, wait. You haven't gotten to 4 yet.
Oh wow, the side
So-
zooms.
I keep telling him I'll bring the Xbox down to the living room, but he doesn't.
And I can see my reflection in the sight.
that's the important part.
I can see my reflection in the sight. Hang on.
Doing your hair.
So,
But when you're going to blast those super mutants,
in Fallout 4, you can actually name your weapons.
Yep.
I'm gonna name this.
Jason's an asshole.
My sniper rifle is named the Finger of God.
Because he's not compensating for anything.
Let me have this for a second. I'm not
This is my
compensating for
weapon, this
anything
is my
either.
gun.
Thomas, darling, you missed a bit.
It's got a little condom on it here, so it's just,
I'm glad you made that joke, not me. I thought it was
Remember,
inappropriate.
your
Now-
rifle is for protection.
this thing. Now I'm doing a Fallout photo shoot this weekend, and by the way, it lights up. It's,
See, I want to lick it, but I think that would be inappropriate.
oh my god!
Depends on which indie lick.
So now I have
I don't. So I lick
Be
the
careful,
end, or
it
I
might
lick-
gooify you.
I did a 3D print of a laser pistol.
Oh no! I'm
Now I've got the plasma rifle, the plasma pistol, the laser pistol, and a whole bunch of other modern style weapons and all that stuff for my fall shoot. This is super freaking awesome.
That is.
I won't say the price, but it really for the
Thank you, Daddy.
You're welcome. Little prick.
Way to make it weird.
One thing is, folks, for a replica of this quality, they're really. I mean, it's more expensive than the plasma pistol. I'm not going to say how much it was, but
Think
for
Geek. Go look on Think Geek.
It's actually
right,
really
can I
reasonably
hold it?
priced for the size.
For the fact that it's a 1-to-1.
1-to-1 replica that lights up.
Yeah. The trigger doesn't do anything yet. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a real loud sound generator in there.
He's going to make an actual plasma rifle.
I'm going to make it so somebody dies.
Well, hopefully we'll get the 3D modeler back on now that we
I
actually
can make
have
it.
good
I can
video.
put a switch on. So one of them makes a huge plasma rifle sound, and the other goes pew 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 pew.
Well, the real irony of it is, if you take the front end off and just put a little nib on it, it's the plasma. It's a modified plasma pistol. If you know Fallout 4,
Yeah.
it's very similar.
I think we all want to touch our plasma rifle.
Please, this is pretty cool.
Well, while we're passing it about, Thomas, plasma weapons versus energy weapons. I know you fall for
It is an energy weapon.
Yeah, well,
Versus laser?
sorry, plasma weapons versus like projectile
This
weapons.
is mine now. I look better with it.
Plasma weapons or energy weapons are great, especially in space.
Right.
Zero G.
Because no one can
there's
hear
no
you
kick. There's no kick.
I displayed it for you.
Yeah. You also in zero G, you don't want an ejecting shell wandering around in your.
Right, because that could tear.
Oh,
through.
that episode.
Yeah. Going back to Love, Death, and Robots.
Love, Death, and Robots. Yes. There's a scene that talks about momentum.
Micro debris.
Micro debris.
He had one cider, man.
I'm a lightweight. Relatively.
Yeah, you know.
Because when I play video games that give you the option, like Fallout or Halo, I tend to prefer good old-fashioned slug thrower. You know, that's.
You know,
because nothing says hello like two barrels of shotgun to the face.
I don't know. Turning something into a pile of glowing snot is relevant.
Laser. So where you point is where you hit.
See, I'm
you don't have to go, I wonder what the wind's doing. Oh, I got to compensate for nothing. Boom, dead.
That does lead on to, I'm a sniper. I like the math.
Well, here's the thing, though. That's why I like plasma over laser. If you want to talk about a realistic situation, lasers could be affected by a weather condition.
Yeah.
Plasma isn't.
Oh, trivia question. Laser is actually an acronym. Who knows what it stands for?
Light amplified signal. I can't remember the last one.
I mean, neither.
If anyone watches Thomas's feed at all, laser.
Someone was actually
light
mentioning that
amplified
earlier.
signal
Yes.
something.
Yeah.
Right.
But so.
Last one's Ray.
So laser is basically a highly focused tight beam of light, whereas plasma is a state of superheated matter.
Gas, which he's for.
Yeah.
That's why you have plasma cutters that do exist. We actually use those in metalwork and stuff like that. This is going to look great mounted on my next Vespa. I'm thinking of making like a little thing that holds it up. I know
We don't care about the video anymore. We just care about the
toy. Oh yeah, viewers, we have those.
Light amplification by stimulated emissions of radiation.
There you go. You learned something new today, kids.
Sorry,
now we lost comments for the rest of the episode.
The problem is it's a right-handed piece, because if you do it with your left hand, you hit the button that turns it on and off. You go, like that, and then oops. So, right-handed.
Is he going to go about I'm ambidextrous again?
Yes, I'm going to remind everyone that I'm actually truly ambidextrous, which is...
I'm special.
Can you write with both hands?
Yes, equally badly. But
in the snow,
I broke my I broke my left thumb, so now my left signature is completely different than it was before. It's because I don't have the dexterity in my thumb. It's like that sucks. It's like
So in the SEA, did you fight two weapons?
I would occasionally fight two weapons, but also if you're fighting two-handed weapon.
No, Thomas, it's a trap. It's a trap. Stop. It's a sword discussion.
No! We don't have enough time for Taylor to speak about swords.
No!
And we're all bored of that.
More swords.
You are. They might not be.
There's so many swords in our house.
We want to get new viewers, not kill the ones off that we have.
Oh, who doesn't want to kill the viewers off? So, no, I love my viewers. Yes, all 4 of you. Love you all. This is great.
We currently have 12 viewers.
I have 12 viewers at the moment. Yay!
A whole 12. Wow.
Well, they switch out.
That's more.
Well, you know, we have a lot of. This is the.
It's more than us.
Yeah.
You know, that's. So, what do you think? Do you play
I think
Fallout,
this
or
is
do you
what I was talking about before when I said I don't know much about video games or anything that even relates to them.
But
yeah, but as far as a ray gun, what do you think?
Oh, absolutely. It's phenomenal. It's a great piece. I envy it.
So I imagine
the artistic value, but I have no no concept of where this
make
goes
one
into
of the
any game.
laser pistols from, or one of the alien blasters
helps I haven't
from
played the game either.
Mothership Zeta to add into the.
So I would imagine, as far as like how this would function as an actual piece, so this is where the plasma would be stored.
Or generated.
Generated.
I was going to say
This,
agitated.
this looks a little bit like a gas cylinder here, so part of it would be there, then heat it up.
Okay.
And then you would have to have a containment field, not probably magnetic, that would go down,
To shape the plasma.
which is why you have all the coils and
magnetic
stuff.
coils.
Yeah.
Heat sink.
8 sync.
Oh yeah, that's yeah.
Funny thing about the video game thing, I was not a gamer till about 2 years ago. And I bought a Vespa, because I love Vespas. And it was the right color blue, and a friend of mine was saying, hey, that's like Fallout Blue from this game Fallout. I'm like, I'd heard of it, but I hadn't played it.
I was one of those people.
Yes, yes, you were.
And I remember when we got stopped by a group of bikers in New Mexico
Yes.
about the Fallout Vespa, and we feared for our lives.
These bikers looked like Jason if he ate all of us in one sitting and was a foot taller. And he was just like, and this
So a
is
super
big-
mutant.
These super mutants were at the back of the van, and they're laughing at my bike. And I'm like, let's go forward, let's go forward.
We tried to sneak into the minivan
Yes.
that the Vespa is hooked up to and pretend that we don't know they exist.
And we get in the van quickly, getting ready to go, and thud against the window next to me, and I'm like, oh god, this is not going to end well. I can only kill 3 of these guys, and there's at least like a dozen, I don't know. That was what I was telling myself, making myself feel better. So this happens, and I roll down the window, yeah, and my voice is higher than hers, and the guy just goes, I love Fallout, and oh my god, that's a real Vespa. What is it? And it's a 74 Super. Oh my god. So now I got to get out and talk to them all. And they're actually all just going, this is awesome. Oh my god, can I shake your hand? Look what you did. I'm like,
Okay, now we talked about Taylor veering into swords. We just veered into Vespa.
into the Vespa-verse.
So we've got swords, we've got Vespas, we've got photography, and we've got egotistical analogs.
And this poor guy who's going, why did I
sign up
I
for
have
this?
a book to write.
So we're running out of time, and there's a couple of announcements that I'd like to make. We're going to be filming next month, but it's going to be later in the month we show it. This is our last live broadcast. We've got a few things planned. Now, everybody responded fantastically to the vote of Make Thomas Wait. And honestly, I think it was worth the wait. Yeah. We can't blur it out for live.
We need to get like one of those, get a pixelation, like just on a card.
Yeah.
Just on a stick and hold
Well,
it
you
up.
can take one of the screens off of the hip. But so we're going to put up a new poll this week, and it's going to be a lot of fun. What we're going to do is you get to determine what D&D class and race the pub crawlers are.
Oh man.
It's not the end of it. Once we have this, we are going to do an in-costume short D&D adventure. In costume, using the voices. So if you make me an orc, I will get the whole green makeup and tusks, the whole 9 yards.
How did I not end up in this? That's my wheelhouse, brother. Talk about
It's
this
all-
all day long.
It's all down to the roll of the D20.
So something we're going to be
You're
doing.
our NPC right now.
Yeah.
Nice.
So,
I have a
at
quest.
Nerd Pub going forward, we're going to do the D&D. I have plans for other cosplay and adventure things to do. The next one, I'm not going to spoil it yet. So the next one's D&D. We're going to have the poll up. The other thing that is going to be launching in the next 2 days is our Patreon. We would like to keep this going and be able to do more things, and we're going to have something exclusive on the Patreon that if you subscribe for a certain level, you will get to watch Eddie's Nervous Breakdown. Eddie's Nervous Breakdown will be the filming of the episode, which is going to be longer than the normal episode, and then cut down to a regular viewing time. But we're going to offer a lot, and we didn't get the keychains done, did we?
Not for this one yet.
Okay.
But we will.
We are, for those who voted and liked the page, we will do probably next week when Thomas is back from the convention. We'll do the drawing. I will print out all the names and put them in a fishbowl, and probably let Louise do it since she's more or less unbiased with it. And we'll do a drawing for X number of keychains, and then we'll contact you individually for the shipping information. These are going to be exclusive Nerd Pub, Nerd Public keychains. They're going to be leather, laser cut. They're going to be really, really awesome. The Patreon, we have other things planned. Our next live event, or not live, sorry.
One thing, even without the Patreon and everything, the show is going to go on, and that'll be free. You will not have to pay to watch on the show on YouTube. This is just for extra stuff if you're interested.
If you're interested, show your love of it. We're going to be doing a convention show at COGS in New Jersey. We're going to be doing in-hall interviews. We're going to film a show from there, and if all goes well, we'll have Nerd Pub stickers.
Yay!
But for us to get,
because all the kids love stickers.
To get the stickers, we need 100 subscribers. Please subscribe. Subscribe and like the video. We appreciate your support. But once we have 100, we can actually get a URL that is, hey, what is your YouTube channel? Not YouTube/CCOM Thomas is just loving
That's the guy
it.
who runs the Nerd Pub over there. Hold on. There he comes. There he comes.
Sorry, my face. Sorry.
That's the guy over there. And he knew what this was before I got to. Because, as I said before, y'all suck.
So do I get to deserve another drink for this one?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Pew, pew, pew.
So yeah, like and subscribe to the page, or else.
Don't forget to hit for notifications on YouTube, or else you won't know when we put up a new video.
And we have plans to do more than just the show. Crusty Old Nerd video reviews. Heck, we might do tastings.
Ooh, yeah. I'm down for that.
To be more,
You didn't say what.
Tastings. Yeah.
Oh no, I was going to do that.
No. Here's the thing.
We licked it and
For our highest tier of our Patreon, Eddie has volunteered his services. If you subscribe to the highest tier of Patreon, he will lick the pub. He will do the pub lick.
Yes, he will. And the poor guy who runs it's back there going,
what?
What the hell are you talking about?
So, yeah.
I fully expected to be stabbed.
He's pulling out the Clorox wipes.
He's got the release form ready to go. Yeah. So we got a lot of exciting things. Movie, game reviews, the regular Nerd Pub show.
By the way, that guy, he's going to be our GM for the D&D game. Yeah, he doesn't know this yet, but he's going to be the GM for our D&D game.
And next month is my last one until I come back to the States.
Yes. So Luis will be our...
Depending on how Brexit goes.
That is true. If anyone wants to marry me, I'm down.
We're asking if you're going to International Steampunk Symposium, she's gonna be there.
I am gonna be there. I've got a bag of ring pops. I will be proposing to anyone who will take me.
I'm gonna be there Friday evening. I leave on Saturday to go to Michigan to pick up another Vespa.
Shocker!
And I'm gonna do a photo shoot, a full-out photo shoot on Friday at the convention, and then another one in Jackson, Michigan on Saturday at about from 2 to about 6.
So Thomas, but when you cut the keychains before this weekend, can we get her a badge that calls her the Unicorn?
We can.
That is the new one.
Unicorn.
We have intern badges. I have one here. The camera won't be able to pick it up, but it says Minion. I forgot it's on there. I feel humiliated.
I honestly, when you were getting ready, I thought that was intentional.
It was not deliberate. And we have this is my resting grip face. The what was it?
Pardon my Midwest.
Pardon my Midwest, and now the Eurocorn.
Well, I believe we're out of time.
Yes.
Now it's time to say goodbye. Raise a pint to you. NER, DPU, D, Drinking Bell, Nerd Pub.
Yeah, someone else is going to have to come up with the song. I sing like a wounded freaking chicken.
I'm working on it. Come on, I'm doing so much of this webpage.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting me.
I can handle the jingle.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll handle the jingle. All right, I'm going to handle the jingle.
I got spurs that jingle,
jingle, jingle.
Okay.
That's because I'm playing Fallout New Vegas.
Cigar on his hip.
Goodbye, guys.
All right. Cheers.
Bye. Bye. Go be nerdy.
Support your local Nerd Pub.